For the Jaguars.
McDonald's coffee.
The Broncos are going to lose today.
Never.
It's nothing special.
Small.
49ers are biased on Katie.
That is a stupid idea.
No. If I can't take it when my team, I'll give the Colts the benefit of the doubt.
Madden 21 was so bad.
I'm gonna show last time I'm getting my body.
Has he played? Has he started in the
Right to tell you. Tag him on Instagram. Second, and all these tantrums. I could have.
Devontae Foreman coming out of Texas.
Truly appreciate the offer.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 4 of That One Dude 2020 right here on the MI6 Sports Network every single Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, guys, we know as we start the show, we do an Isaiah Roast Sesh like we do every single week. But of course, we're going to do something a little bit more heavy, whatever you want to call it, to begin the show here. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, about a year ago, let's say Tuesday, something happened in the sports world. And I say this when we talk about anything content here on the MI6 Sports Network. If you don't get anything else out of what we're doing, what type of content we're doing, enjoy what we do. Enjoy. This is other lessons that we can teach y'all. Enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy the people that you have in your life. This past year, of course, Kobe Bryant died, and a lot of people were impacted in sports world. And if you're not a sports fan, it's really hard to understand. But let me also make this abundantly clear. I do not idolize athletes, and I never will. But seeing Kobe Bryant, what he did on and off the court, inspired a guy like me to really be interested in sports. But let's not forget, just because Kobe passed away, let's not forget everybody, all the families that were affected by this. So Kobe Bryant, 41. Of course, his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi, their friends, Payne Chester, Sarah Chester, Lissa Apatelli, Carrie Apatelli, John Apatelli, of course, the father, Christina Musser, 38, and the helicopter pilot at 50. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you're a sports fan, it's really hard to understand. It's not about all the money he made. It's not about the amount of championships. It's how he was as a man. It's how he was as a father. Sports, yes, we can see it on TV. It's about what you're doing. You saw all the 5 championships, or people that watch sports. You saw the drama with Shaq. You saw Kobe winning back to back with Shaquille O'Neal. But I say in sports, there is without a doubt a brotherhood here, folks. And of course, Kobe, Eugene, and they're all, like I said, all the Apatellis are friends, and of course, the pilot will be missed. But folks, the lesson really here is take advantage of everybody that you love, just because we never truly and genuinely know when life is going to be taking us in the, you never know when it's going to end. So take advantage of each and every moment that you have with your family. But rest in peace, Kobe, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, that quick thing to the NFL. This past week, we had 2 games, the AFC Championship game, and of course, the NFC Championship game. Both results truly weren't a surprise to me. Unlike Isaiah, who has said in the past that he does not fear Patrick Mahomes. Remember, folks, Isaiah says he does not fear Patrick Mahomes. Christy Wilson comes to say, Kobe was a huge supporter of the WNBA, which made me like him even more. Christy, you're right, though. I wasn't a huge fan of the WNBA. But when you saw what Gigi was going to be doing, how Kobe was teaching her how to play the game, how Kobe was teaching her how to be a baller, kind of like he was, the Mamba mentality, there's without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that I would have watched the WNBA. But like I said, folks, take advantage with all the people you have in your life, because you never truly and genuinely know when it's going to be over. And that's one of the many great things about sports. It is a brotherhood. But going back to the AFC Championship game, folks, for me, I picked the Chiefs to win this game. But for the Buffalo Bills side of this, let's talk about that. For me, it had more answers than questions. Sorry, more questions than answers for the Buffalo Bills. I hyped them up. They won the AFC East. Josh Allen was doing his thing. Stephon Diggs is doing his thing. And I still said, despite them having the success in the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills not having a running game was sooner or later going to hurt. And, of course, Josh Allen wasn't able to get it done. If you really just kind of break down the numbers a little bit, if you want to watch film, you looked at it at YouTube. Josh Allen was known for his accuracy, having a career year in accuracy, passing yards, touchdowns, all of those things. That is not what we saw in Josh Allen through week 1 through week 17 through the first 2 playoff games. Accuracy, being a better quarterback, getting out of the pocket. In this game, he barely completed 58 to 62% of his passes, which is really not the same kind of Josh Allen we saw in a divisional round, the wild card. This is not the Josh Allen we were seeing this year. Do I give all of the blame to Josh Allen? No. This is a team game. Sean McDermott gets some blame. Josh Allen gets some blame. Josh Allen still had great mobility, but again, accuracy in big games was a question. Last year, they went to the wild card round, of course, lost. I believe the Buffalo Bills have a bright future, but for this game, this was a must-win for Buffalo, more than it was for the Chiefs, because the Buffalo Bills back in the day, credit to Christy Wilson's Cowboys, they've lost 4 every time. They were 0-4 in the Super Bowl back in the mid to late 80s to early to mid 90s. Of course, 2 to 3 of those Super Bowl losses were, of course, from Christy Wilson's Dallas Cowboys. When we see how Buffalo Bills play, we already know they have the leadership, the camaraderie, and that can only take you so far if your resolution or on the field results don't accumulate from what you did previous weeks. I'm high on the Buffalo Bills. Let me make no mistake about that. But Christy Wilson says early 90s. So thank you for clarifying that for me, Christy. Early 90s for the Dallas Cowboys. There again, thank you for Christy Wilson for clarifying that. I'm high on the Bills. Let me make no mistake about that. But the Buffalo Bills have more questions than answers than the Chiefs do if the Chiefs lost this game. I will say that one more time. The Buffalo Bills have more questions than answers than the Chiefs do in this game if somehow, some way the Chiefs were going to lose this game. And I told people, you can never doubt Patrick Mahomes in any single way. When he was in concussion protocol, I said potentially this could have been a thing. Well, they want to make sure he's fully healthy, or if not, they want to make sure he's fully healthy to the fullest extent he can in this game. You want to take it very seriously. Not every single franchise is going to get a Mahomes type of quarterback. So you want to make sure he's healthy. You want to make sure he's secure. You want to make sure his shoulder isn't a whack. You want to make sure there's no pain in Patrick Mahomes, because if there is, it's going to be a long game against the Buffalo Bills. It's that type of situation with that type of quarterback. Very few of those. You want to make sure he's fully healthy. You want to make sure he doesn't have to play through an injury. I picked the Chiefs to win. Do I want the Chiefs to win big games? No, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Denver Broncos fan. But really talking about on the Chiefs side of this is their continued dynasty. But 2 things though. There's a difference. There's the dynasty. It's a franchise. A franchise is long-term, which I believe the Kansas City Chiefs were something they're trying to do when they extended Patrick Mahomes to this previous offseason. We really talk about the offensive side of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes does what Patrick Mahomes does in clutch moments. 325 and 3 TDs, just going alone from the stats. What did they have better than the Bills? I'm not talking about in the regular season. I'm not talking about in the divisional round. What did the Chiefs have better in this game? Obviously, besides we know who's the better quarterback. The running game. That's the thing that the Chiefs have had. I'm not saying they had an elite running game every single week, but they have running backs they can rely on. The Buffalo Bills, frankly, had no running backs they could rely on. You had Zach Moss, who's your starter or backup to Devin Singletary, and he was injured Devin Singletary just hasn't developed as the guy that you can count on in moments when your other guys are out or your other guys are not really, truly, genuinely getting it done. I know the Chiefs have Le'Veon Bell. Darrell Williams a touchdown with 4 yards per carry. I give him without a doubt credit. The Chiefs won. It's not a surprise. But since the Chiefs won, who do you give more credit to? Is it Patrick Mahomes playing through an injury, or they're being conservative about his health? Is it Andy Reid? There's all success or celebrate, all credit that you could give to the Chiefs. But let me make this clear. Like I've said with Tom Brady, we're going to talk about here in a couple moments on that One Dude 2020 every single Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So exciting news here and much later in the show is that as long as you have Patrick Mahomes on the field, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes in the game, even if he has 1.5 legs, or even if his one arm is healthy and the other arm or shoulder is just busted up, you have a chance in any game that you play in. I understand that Bills fans wanted their team to win. I agree. If my Broncos playing the Chiefs or whatever scenario it was, I would want my team to win. But also you have to be realistic here. As much as Josh Allen played phenomenal throughout the regular season, throughout the first 2 games of the playoffs, beating the Colts and doing what you did, beating the Ravens, this team just lacked, I wouldn't say lacked identity, but they weren't able to do successfully what they did in the first 2 playoff games and then the regular season. Sometimes when you veer away from or not veer away from what you did well, but veered or in terms of doing what you do well, but it doesn't work. So if you're good in the passing doesn't work, you have to rely on the running game, and you really haven't been able to establish any type of running game since really LaShawn McCoy or Frank Gore, and that was before Josh Allen was even drafted by the Buffalo Bills. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear your picks from this past week, but I'm not surprised, as I did pick the Kansas City Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl. Now, their team that I thought they would play against was not the team I thought it would have been. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the comments here. Christy Wilson comes in to say, Isaiah should fear Patrick Mahomes, and of course, he should, Christy. But here's the crazy part. He says he won't, but on a 2-minute drill, at the 35-yard line, less than 50 yards to go, already in field goal range, on the back of his mind and the back of his head, there's no doubt in my mind, truly, that Isaiah does fear Patrick Mahomes. Of course, Ismail comes in and says, what's up? What's up, my man? Hope you are having a phenomenal evening. Of course, hope, Christy Wilson, you're having a phenomenal evening. Also, Christy Wilson also comes in to say, the Bills put in a good effort in the AFC Championship game. They did. But the Chiefs are one of those teams, there's really not a lot of things you can do to stop them. Unless Patrick Mahomes is not playing, or somehow you find a way to keep the offense off of the field. That's really all you can do. It's not just the weapons, it's the mental capability of Patrick Mahomes that is really early to stop. Of course, James Gonzalez comes in to say, hopefully you're having a great night. James, he said, Chiefs had it all the way, never in doubt, sadly. And I agree with you on both parts. They had it all the way and never in doubt. Keyword, sadly. Because I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and I don't like when the Chiefs continuously win. But you cannot, without a doubt, bet against Patrick Mahomes. I bet against another quarterback we'll talk about in a couple months, and I've also bet against Patrick Mahomes again and again and again. And look, ladies and gentlemen, where it got me. But to summarize it, there are more questions than answers for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen moving forward. Should they pay Josh Allen? Should they wait? It's like a win, lose, win type of situation. You pay him now, he doesn't produce, or you wait a year and you have to pay him even more because he skyrockets, his value skyrockets. So there's so many questions to come this offseason. But I can truly say in the bottom of my heart, this NFL offseason, this NFL free agency is without a doubt going to be even more exciting than the 2020 NFL offseason. But ladies and gentlemen, Freddie, I hope you're watching this one right here. Oh boy, oh boy. Cheers. Getting just water. NFC Championship game. The Bucs defeat the Green Bay Packers to advance to another Super Bowl. Because they hadn't been to Super Bowl, correct me, since I believe 2002 with John Gruden as head coach. Now, correct me if I'm way off on that one, but folks, this isn't a surprise. And even though some people say it's not all on Aaron Rodgers, yes, again, this is not just Aaron Rodgers I talked about. It's the whole team that is without a doubt overrated. Like I've said before, and I'll say this again about quarterback Tom Brady. He is the GOAT. I'm a fan of him, not because of the rings, because when a player in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position, can prove me wrong, I can admit, I can swallow my pride. I have bet against Tom Brady so many times, I truly forget how many times I bet against him. But folks, this game was interesting. I picked Tom Brady to win, but when you poke the bear, when I say the bear is Tom Brady, when push comes to shove, we know Tom Brady every single time is going to deliver. This shouldn't be a shocker. This shouldn't be a surprise. We saw the phony GOAT in Aaron Rodgers, and then we saw the true GOAT in Tom Brady. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if somebody did it before. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Better than Joe Montana. I don't care if you say, oh, he's never lost a Super Bowl. But Tom Brady's been to more Super Bowls and has more Super Bowl wins and more Super Bowl appearances. You want to talk about, 13 TDs to 0 picks. Well, also, Jerry Rice admitted he had glue on his gloves. Folks, I understand. Tom Brady went to a team that was phenomenally stacked. But it's not just about really how many players they had, or how great the receiving core was, or how deep the receiving core, the tight end, and the running core was. It is the quarterback that makes the difference. They could have the same roster this year with a different quarterback. Will they have gone to the Super Bowl? Now, folks, I understand there were times this year where people questioned the Bucs, and I did say about a year ago the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl contenders, and that wasn't a far off sports take. But there were some people, at least during the season, when the Bucs weren't doing so hot, the defense wasn't getting it done. Tom Brady and this team just wasn't seem to click. There are media reports where the sports media was dramatizing, or AKA making a story out of nothing, talking about, Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, their relationship is torn. They're not able to get it done. The communication isn't there. Well, it turns out that was boo. That was never even a thing. That story never happened. It's just a lot of things, like you see, what the sports media does, that cause drama. Folks, when you really break this down, we can look at the numbers. Haven't watched 98% of the game. What I don't understand is why some people were hyping up this Packers defense. Folks, this is the same Packers defense that last year let Raheem Mostert run for, I believe, 215 to 220 plus yards rushing in the NFC Championship game. It's not just Aaron Rodgers' fault. No, you could say, folks, well, Aaron Rodgers had the better numbers in terms of pass. Fine, okay. But the passing yards, you could have the better passing yards. But if you don't make the critical throws in the individual moments, then the overall passing numbers don't matter if those individual throws aren't made, aka one to Devontae Adams that could have been a touchdown, and that was missed. It's not just Aaron Rodgers I thought was overrated this year, or even last year. It's the whole team. It's Matt LaFleur. It is the entire Packers team. It is their defense. It is their offense. It's their special teams. So they really have a defense. I believe Kevin King is probably fire from the NFL. Because, ladies and gentlemen, with 8 seconds left in the first half, the Bucs were up 14-10. Green Bay wasn't able to score anything in the first quarter, but was able to come back with 10 points right before halftime. What we thought, I thought maybe I could admit that was wrong. I thought, they'll probably kneel it down or something, and then the Packers may get one play in, and it'll be 14-10 at halftime. But like I said in the divisional round, as I said in this game, somehow, some way, Scott Miller is going to be a factor. I don't know if I said this on air or not, but Scott Miller is going to be a factor in the Green Bay Packers defense constantly, time and time again, has let fans down and has let the organization down. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, with 8 seconds left, what does Tom Brady do? Watch this instant replay, and we'll discuss right after. I mean, I believe that's Kevin King or who's that corner. You let Scott Miller get that much separation. What type of defensive play are you trying to run? That's almost as bad, if not worse, than the Jets and Raiders game in Week 16, Week 17, when Greg Williams decided to go cover zero. Folks, this is the same team last year that let Raheem Mostert ball out, let the 49ers go to the Super Bowl. Do I blame Aaron Rodgers for the defense not playing well? No. Again, Aaron Rodgers can say had the better passing numbers, but it doesn't matter. If the critical throws are not made in big games, the overall passing numbers don't matter. Ask Ben Roethlisberger. He had over 500 yards passing, but he didn't make the critical throws when it mattered, folks. That's just what you're going to hear on that one, dude. 2020. You hear the honest facts. You don't hear what you want to hear. You hear what you need to hear right here on that one, dude. 2020. I'm not surprised Tampa Bay won. I know that Tom Brady in the first half was phenomenal, about 2 to 3 TDs total. But in the second half, did cause some concern for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as of course, Tom Brady had 3 interceptions. As I was starting to sweat bullets, I was headed to church that night. I wasn't able to watch the last part of the game until I got there with 1.5 minutes left in the game. Tom Brady did throw 3 interceptions, but won it in the second half, like Shannon Sharp said on Undisputed this week. Even though I don't always agree with them, but he made a good point. Defense. You had Vita, Shaq Barrett, who had 19.5 sacks the year before, who was drafted, I believe, in 2014 to 2015 by my Denver Broncos. So I know how special this guy is, ladies and gentlemen. The defense won it in the second half, where sometimes the defense this year wasn't able to come onto the same page, but in the second half, when they needed to get it, they got it done. Obviously, the overall numbers are in favor of Aaron Rodgers, but like I just said, folks, Tom Brady made the critical throws when it truly and genuinely mattered. Let's watch this again. I believe this is Kevin King, but correct me if I'm wrong on this instant replay, and we'll discuss once again. I mean, this defender right here, you let Scott Miller get that much separation. Again, the problem with that defender, not just on that play, you're looking here. I understand you're trying to figure out what Tom Brady's going to do. Is Tom Brady going to throw over here to the right? Is it going to be some play action or screen pass? You're trying to figure all things out. But never forget, Scott Miller has been a big factor in these playoffs. Obviously, he wasn't the main factor or the only factor. He was a factor in the division round. He was a factor in this game. Getting up 21-10 against the phony GOAT and this overrated Packers team. It's not just Aaron Rodgers I'm critical about. That defense couldn't make plays. Special teams really couldn't get a lot going. The on or off the field chemistry with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LePoo. I call him Matt LePoo because that's how they played. That's how they played, especially in critical moments. I don't care if you're an NFL coach. You could not get the job done. I'm not surprised Tampa Bay's back in the Super Bowl. There's always going to be some rumors. Oh my gosh, is Aaron Rodgers going to leave Green Bay? I knew that was going to happen when the Bucs won this game. But folks, when we really look at it, truly understand, break it down. Despite what you have your opinions about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, you knew this is not a surprise. The Bucs won. We know they have the Bucs better defense. It wasn't just on paper. They showed it on the field. The Bucs defense showed up. This is what the Bucs have been known for, even in the Super Bowl in 2002. 19 years later, never doubt the GOAT. It says it in the Bible, and we should do this in real life. Respect your elders. Tom Brady's been the elder in the Super Bowl for I forget how many years now. Never doubt Tom Brady. Some people are questioning, who got more of the credit if they Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's success? Folks, wait till next year. New England, I believe, is going to be a great team at contending for the AFC East next year. Another topic, another day. But what got it done? Leonard Fournette with that 30-plus yard touchdown on, I believe, second and third down or 3rd and 2. Correct me if I'm wrong about the down in yards on that play. Again, just as the same Packers defense that let Raheem Mostert get it done last year, and it's the same Packers defense that came back this year, let Leonard Fournette get it going, let Ronald Jones get it going, and of course, let Chris Godwin make this game-clinching play so the Bucs can get back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 19 years.
Here's the snap and an end around to Godwin. Godwin running to the third. He's got the first down.
Folks, that's that same defense that let Raheem Mostert go off last year. Is it really a surprise that defense gave up that type of play? Do I think the Bucs were going to get that type of play? No. But I'm not surprised. His defense has been exposed. So you can go all the way back to 2015 with most of those guys on that defense are out of the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong. From that NFC Championship game versus the Seattle Seahawks, this Bucs team isn't just better on paper. It led to results on field. But ladies and gentlemen, this game was a nail-biter in the second half, and I cannot stress that enough. Aaron Rodgers, while he did have over 340 yards, that interception killed it. And I know Tom Brady had more picks, but Aaron Rodgers could not. That clutch throw, the clutch defense to stop for Tampa Bay practically sealed him. Aaron Rodgers could have thrown a pick earlier in the game when it was much closer, would have been okay. But Aaron Rodgers, for some reason, again, we talking about the defense, they don't get it done. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams had a touchdown in this game, so again, Aaron Jones, we'll talk about that here in just a moment on That One Dude 2020. But the fact of the matter is, in the clutch moment, for some reason, in NFC Championship games, Aaron Rodgers likes to throw picks. He likes to serve hot L's. So maybe he's going to be a special guest on Shannon Sharp's cooking show. Shannon Sharp's restaurant, because he knows all about hot L's because he's had a lot of them in the NFC Championship game. Now, folks, I don't know the extent of to Aaron Jones's injury, and of course, he only had 6 to 10, so it was on the sidelines. So, yes, I am critical about the Packers. But, folks, I've said this before, and I'll say this again before we go to a quick commercial break. I don't care if I'm rooting against a team or rooting for my team to win. I'm never going to wish injury upon nobody. I don't care. This is sports. I do take it seriously. But I will never wish somebody to get injured. I will never wish anybody to be severely hurt. I will never do that. But we'll be right back in 30 seconds. What I want to revere back. Again, thank you for coming back here. That One Dude 2020 every single Thursday on the MI6 Sports Network, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will talk about the Bucs one more time before we kind of finish this talk up, before we get into more football here on That One Dude 2020. The Bucs, the whole playoffs, they face against good top defenses. I know Washington, I know that game was very close, but you've had Washington with Chase Young, all those guys. You had the division around, you had the NFC Championship game. But never, ever count out Tom Brady. Not a surprise with the sports media. Oh, it was Aaron Rodgers leaving. It's Aaron Rodgers that. Freddie, or any Packers fan out there, folks, if the team was so bad, I believe Aaron Rodgers has enough leverage to get the players that he wants for him to think how the Packers could have future success. Again, Aaron Rodgers, I believe, has more leverage with the franchise than we truly and genuinely think. But I don't feel bad for him. Boo-hoo, your team is so bad. You have leverage. So I don't want to hear any excuses about how how bad your team was. All these sad excuses here. Folks, again, this is a stat here. Again, maybe some people know. Tampa Bay Buccaneers came in as a wild card team. Only since the merger in 1970, there's only been 10 wild card teams to make it to the Super Bowl. 6 of those 10 have won it. So think about it. You have the GOAT. 6 of those 10 wild card teams have won the Super Bowl. Think about that, folks. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers did it back in the day. You had Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews, and all those guys on offense and defense. But the chips are on their shoulders. The Bucs are no longer being doubted. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be a very, very great game. But of course, before we move on, let's get to what people have to say in the comments here. Isaiah Leong, I'm proud of you. You're not drinking a virgin pina colada. Got hot cocoa for tonight instead of coffee. Well, great, man, because again, no more virgin pina coladas because that really does nothing. Saying Gonzalez also comes in to say, talking about when we talked about the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game. He says step by step for Buffalo. I agree, James. There's a lot of steps, but I believe they do have a bright future in Buffalo with Josh Allen as their starting quarterback. And of course, Isaiah Leong comes in to say Chiefs did have all the way. James Gonzalez, it did suffer a huge loss. I don't feel like it's getting much attention it deserves. Eric Fisher, the left tackle, does have a torn Achilles in the fourth quarter. But without him, the defensive line is going to feast in the Super Bowl. Well, yes, I believe they will feast in the Super Bowl, Isaiah. But more of my thoughts on that are come next Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. But because of course, this Sunday is the Pro Bowl. Folks, the Pro Bowl is on Madden 21. If you don't follow sports games, Madden 21 is the worst Madden game of all time. So most likely it's going to be pre-recorded because you don't want to see any glitches in the game, even though I've seen many, many glitches that I have recorded on my PlayStation 4 Pro here. Pro Bowl, I don't really care about the Pro Bowl. I haven't watched it in almost 10 years. I don't think it truly and genuinely matters here. I think Isaiah's hitting too much of that hot chocolate, saying Drew Lock for Nick Mullins. And I'll say this here live on air. I'm sorry if this seems harsh. Isaiah, Kyle Shanahan, we'll give you Drew Lock for free. I'm sorry, Drew Lock. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, but you're just not our quarterback. Do I believe he has a bright future with another team? Yes, I believe he could succeed with another team. It's just in the NFL, it's not always meant to be with the team you're drafted by. And that's not a bad thing. I will work for him with another team. But Drew Lock is just not our guy, so we'll give him for free. Maybe a bag of Lay's potato chips. Also, James Gonzalez comes in to say that made things interesting for Super Bowl Sunday. It will test Patrick Mahomes' mobility. Of course, when he was diagnosed with that turf toe issue. Again, James, I 100% without a doubt agree. I think it'll be very interesting to see what they can do. James also comes in to say, I was wrong. Drink the Green Bay Kool-Aid. Brady just gets it done. And I agree. I know that we were so high on Aaron Rodgers in this game. It's just, you can't doubt Tom Brady. I know Chrissy, I believe, said last week, I don't like Tom Brady. I am frustrated with Tom Brady because he's won a lot. But at the same time, I can appreciate true and genuine greatness here, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is Isaiah with the MS6 Sports Network. How does Kevin King let him run by like that? He needs to be cut. King was getting roasted all game long by the Bucs receivers. I, without a doubt, agree. This is the same defense that let Raheem Mostert look like a top 30 running back in the NFL. The 2020 NFC Championship game. Also, Isaiah, I believe somebody with the MI6 comes in to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense better play like they have the last 2 weeks and now revert back to what happened against Washington. Or else they would get toasted by Kansas City. I agree, man. because, again, that Washington game definitely put me on my toes. Isaiah, you also said coming in saying before we continue on with more football talk on That One Dude 2020, says, I'm not going to drink a pina colada when it's 48 degrees here. Come on, man. I about to get myself hypothermia. I mean, you also dropped your phone in the toilet. You also broke a computer by pretending to be a baseball player. So, again, low-key, Isaiah Roast here. Chrissy Wilson says, not watching a Pro Bowl. You and me, Chrissy, just like I was continuing thoughts on that. I haven't watched a Pro Bowl since 2008 to 2009. So I haven't watched a Pro Bowl in a very long time. But Madden 21 was so bad, just like it says in that trailer there for That One Dude 2020. I bought a PlayStation 3 and played old Madden games. So, again, I haven't watched the Pro Bowl in years, and I'm not going to start now. I say Leon comes in to say, me either. I'll never watch it when it's a regular game now. Now, with COVID, it's happening via Madden 21. No thanks. And Isaiah, I truly and genuinely could not say it any better. But, ladies and gentlemen, this next topic I've been waiting to talk about for almost a year, hoping that it would happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. This past week or so, the Detroit Lions are finally swallowing their pride, and they're listening to trade offers for quarterback Matthew Stafford. I said this past year, I believe this is my first 5 to 10 episodes here on That One Dude 2020. Matthew Stafford needs to demand a trade. Matthew Stafford was the quarterback that would be too nice. Matthew Stafford's the guy that's maybe not say anything on social media, online. But this Detroit Lions organization has to absolute be laughable. You have Barry Sanders, who retired early. Calvin Johnson, you're a team, one of the very few teams to go 0-16 in 2008 to get Matthew Stafford in the 2009 NFL Draft. If you kind of break down the math even there, I don't want to get too loud because you get a noise complaint here in the apartment complex. But folks, every 3 to 4 years or so, the Lions were rebuilding around Matthew Stafford. We all talk about quarterbacks and why they aren't able to get it done. Folks, Matthew Stafford, when's the last time they put pieces around him? I understand you finally got Kenny Galladay, you got Marvin Jones. Matthew Stafford's best running back was Reggie Bush. And like I talked about last year on That One Dude 2020, I truly genuinely believe Reggie Bush was without a doubt a bust in the NFL. Same guy that had Calvin Johnson, who had, I believe, in 9 years, almost 12,000 yards receiving, with a year when he had almost 2,000 yards receiving, almost would have been the first ever NFL receiver of all time. But quickly and briefly, I want to talk about some of the injury history of Matthew Stafford and why I'm not happy for the organization or the fans, but I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford that he finally gets to get out of a joke of an organization. As you go back all the way to Matthew Stafford's rookie year, knee injury, same year, a little over a month later, shoulder. What is the thing we see consistently so far in this first, not even 2 full years starting, is a shoulder injury, which is also caused by being hit, which is also caused by not having an offensive line. The Detroit Lions, for so long, and still haven't addressed it, and I don't think they will, with whoever is their next starting quarterback in the NFL for the Detroit Lions, the offensive line. I'll say this again, I'll always want to verbally drill this in y'all's head. I don't care how great your quarterback is. I don't care how great your defense is, your receiving core, tight ends, running backs, fullbacks, any of that. Offense or defense or special teams, to me, it does not matter. If you don't have that offensive line, it doesn't matter what potential you have. It doesn't matter what Pro Bowls you have. You're not going to win in this league. And the Detroit Lions are the same team that fired Jim Caldwell 2 years ago or so for Matt Patricia, who's back in New England. This is that same organization. In 2019, Matthew Stafford was on pace and potentially was already in the conversation to the first 4 to 5 weeks in the NFL MVP conversation with 19 TDs. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. 19 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. What does he go down with in November, in week 9? A back injury. What happens next year with a small injury he has? A back injury. When a quarterback gets hit time and time again, ask Andrew Luck, ask David Carr, ask Joe Burrow why he has that torn ACL. So many guys over the years that get hit. Again, some of it could be their fault, but again, this is not his fault. When you have a guy like Matthew Stafford, folks, we can talk about the injuries or the organization not putting the pieces around them or blah, 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 blah. Let me put this into perspective. Well, you're never going to hear this anywhere else but on the MI6 Sports Network, the That One Dude 2020. Before the 2020 NFL season, keyword, before the 2020 NFL season, if you mix and match 8 of his 11 seasons where he started over 5,000 plus yards and 32 plus TDs. Again, we're talking about seasons that he started from 2009 up into 2019. Mix 8 of those 11 seasons, over 5,000 yards, 32 plus TDs. If that doesn't scream elite or great quarterback, I don't know what will. He's Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes, except without the help, except without the coach, except without the organization. I've been passionate about this for about a year. You can go to my first 10 to 15 episodes. Again, that podcast is now called Something Else. But really, folks, this is the same organization that really doesn't care about the fans. This is the same organization. I get, you can talk about Jerry Jones, and he just cares about the money because it's a profitable organization. It's a profitable town. You have a lot of concerts there, a lot of venues there. I get it. But the Lions organization doesn't care about the fans. The Lions fans do not care. They don't care about Matthew Stafford. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about nobody. They just care about being mediocrity. Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. Matthew Stafford is underrated. Matthew Stafford, there are multiple teams that I truly and genuinely believe will go after Matthew Stafford. And I believe there's one that Benjamin Albright, who I would love to have on the show here on the MI6 Sports Network, and was saying, per reports by Benjamin Albright, who is going to be at the Senior Bowl, that potentially the talks between the San Francisco 49ers and Matthew Stafford are getting better, and they're making progress. That's exciting, but folks, let's hold on. When we hear rumors, when we hear things that could happen, they don't always happen. Hence, aka Antonio Brown to the Buffalo Bills, which is better for the Buffalo Bills overall, and of course, Antonio Brown. But I think that would be interesting. Matthew Stafford with the 49ers would be interesting. But here, folks, I have another few teams I would love to see go after Matthew Stafford. Some of them I pick because they have a lot of cap space. But maybe some teams that are rebuilding would not be a good idea to go after Matthew Stafford. Folks, I can't stress enough how happy I am for Matthew Stafford to get out of an organization that does not care about them. There's no doubt they don't care about Matthew Stafford. If you did, put the pieces around him. You fired a coach that went to the playoffs, and his worst year was 8-8, 9-7. You go to a guy for 2 years who couldn't even get to 8 to 9 wins total in his 2 seasons in the NFL. I sound passionate. I sound frustrated. I'm not a Detroit Lions fan, but I'm happy for a guy that gets out of an organization that does not care about him. Christy Wilson says the Lions let him down by not getting him the players needed to help him succeed. 100%. I couldn't have said it better. And wasted his potential big time, aka big prime. Christy, you're right. That's what I've been saying the past year or two. Some people saying it's all Matthew Stafford. He's not winning. Just like a team in a job, it takes a whole team to do it. It's not just one player. It's not just one employee. You work together as a team. The Lions organization hasn't done that. I don't know who the owner is. of the organization and whoever the new GM is. But no matter who gets into the organization in terms of new players in the draft, Jeff Okudah comes back. His, again, second year in the NFL, but drafted out of Ohio State from Ryan Day being the coach there. Nothing is going to change because it is the same owner. You can't just fire an owner like you can a regular sized employee. But Christian Wilson, I agree, but Christian Wilson also says, I'm sure Isaiah would be excited to see Matthew Stafford become the quarterback for the Niners. That's without a doubt, because Isaiah somehow thinks that if Matthew Stafford goes to the San Francisco 49ers, that somehow they're going to win 3 Super Bowls. So I'll just leave it at that in a mini Isaiah roast. But here are a couple teams. Again, let me know. And again, be honest, because some of these I don't like myself. But again, we're here to improve each and every day on That One Dude 2020 on the MI6 Sports Network every single Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, my first one here was the San Francisco 49ers. Again, I had the Dolphins, but again, a super low chance, less than 0.9% chance I give that he does go to Miami. Again, who knows at the time? Again, I also had the Broncos, but I'm eliminating that one because my Denver Broncos would have to give up too much for Matthew Stafford. And if they're not going to be contending next year or playing that they're going to contend next year, why give up a guy just for 3 to 4 years? Again, I love Matthew Stafford. I would love to have him on my Broncos. But where my team is, where how John Elway is not doing, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. But again, I would always love to see him in a Denver Broncos jersey. This next one here I have, again, like I said, because of the amount of money this team has. The Indianapolis Colts. Phillip Rivers retired, which wasn't a shocker. Like I said, a fraudulent Hall of Famer, slightly above average Kirk Cousins. The Colts have a lot of money. I understand their left tackle retired. We also got Jonathan Taylor. You also got Campbell. You got Pittman. You got Doyle. You got Justin Houston. You got an underrated linebacker in Darius Leonard. You got Xavier Woods, formerly from the Minnesota Vikings, had a bounce back year in 2020. You have so many pieces on defense. You have so many pieces on offense. I think with the amount of money they have and how Matthew's contract is set up, Matthew Stafford's contract is set up, I think it'd be very interesting to see if, I'm getting all these are if, because who truly knows? There's always rumors in the NFL. But it'll be interesting to see with Matthew Stafford with the Colts, at least a potential decision. Again, this next one here, I'm going to eliminate with the Panthers. Again, they're rebuilding, not a good one. Defensive players, no offensive line. Who knows what happens with Robbie Anderson and all those guys? That one I do not agree with. But this next one here, ladies and gentlemen, Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. This shouldn't be a surprise. It's been reported that Deshaun Watson wants to trade. It's been reported that he requested it weeks ago. Folks, I understand when we talk about players have too much power, like we talk about in the NBA, but this is the NFL. Based on what Deshaun Watson has done for the Houston Texans, from day one, from 2017 up until now, hasn't said anything bad about the organization since being drafted, despite what they haven't done for Deshaun Watson. Folks, let's go back about a year when it all was going downhill in the river of denial. Bill O'Brien trades DeAndre Hopkins. Folks, somehow there are very few fans out there that are defending this trade, but Bill O'Brien had the guts. Now the Alabama Crimson Tide national champion offensive coordinator traded DeAndre Hopkins. Said it was best for the team. You talked about how many baby mamas he had. Folks, we all have decisions in life that we wish we could go back on. But as a Christian, as a man, who am I to judge how many baby mamas you have or how many kids you have? That's not my business. But Bill O'Brien decided to bring up. Bill O'Brien didn't have any leadership. They couldn't get past the divisional round. You trade away Deshaun Watson's best receiver. Now, folks, I believe Shannon Sharp said this on Stephen Smith said this on First Take this past couple of days before this was actually getting reported live. Folks, it wasn't just Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins' connection on the field. Folks, they were brothers. When I talk about football, when I talk about sports, it is a brotherhood. Not just on the field, but off the field memories between DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson also led to on the field success. It wasn't just like a guy or a receiver that had the attitude. This is a guy that has done not just so much for the organization, but for the city of Houston. If this isn't a show, I wish I had the clip here of J.J. Watt at a press conference weeks ago talking about how we are terrible. We suck. We are a team. This is fans that are coming out to watch the game, tailgating, taking time out of their busy weekend to watch our games, and we're not playing hard. We're not playing like the team I know we can be. You know, J.J. Watt's gone. There's no doubt in my mind Deshaun Watson is gone. The chemistry on and off the field between DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson, gone. Because Bill O'Brien traded him. Because it was best for the team. And he gave David Johnson, who hasn't been the same since 2015, 2016, and had that wrist injury. Folks, GMs, or here's a GM, head coaches make mistakes. But folks, this is beyond a mistake. This is the obvious decision that was going to harm your team. And despite the weapons that they had or on and off the field, Deshaun Watson, almost 4,900 yards, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, on the touchdown to interceptions. 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. So in every single category, I believe so. Deshaun Watson had a career year. You pay him. You fire Bill O'Brien during the year. Will Fuller had a career year, but wasn't in there for every single game. Brandon Cobb wasn't there for every single game. Brandon Cooks wasn't there for every single game. Kenny Stills is on the practice squad, I believe, for the Buffalo Bills right now. You took away his best weapon, and he still had a career year. Do I believe Deshaun Watson deserves some intel, or in terms of not intel, but some respect in terms of, hey, this is what we're going to do? Deshaun Watson, I believe, has leverage. Deshaun Watson has earned that. Despite what the organization has put him through, ladies and gentlemen, he deserves it. There's been no communication. When you don't have the relationship with your players, you've lost. Again, Henry says Bill O'Brien's gone, long out now. I agree, he is gone. But I'm going through the timeline of what happened last year to now, and kind of the end of the relationship between the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson. The relationship's been broken for a long time. The Texans can get a lot of picks with the Texans organization, or in terms of the ownership. To say not just to the Texans, but for the players, fans, they're all giving him middle fingers. Because, folks, you have a talent like Watson. Just like Mahomes, except I think Bill Mahomes is a little bit on a higher level. These guys don't come very often. And you burn that bridge. Occurrence of what happened last year and this year. If a quarterback isn't happy, the relationship is already gone after you traded Hopkins last year. Again, now Bill O'Brien's with the Alabama Crimson Tide, who won the national championship against the not Ohio State. There's just no way. I told this to one of my family members. Deshaun Watson will not finish out his rookie contract with the Houston Texans, and I believe he will not play a snap this year for the Houston Texans. Isaiah does have a good point here, kind of breaking it down just a little bit for the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson. Contrary to popular belief, Houston has all the leverage right now, and Deshaun Watson is under contract for the next 4 years. They can tag him 3 more times. They can fine Watson almost $96,000 for missing minicamp, and plus 1 week salary of $620,000. Plus 1 week salary, blah, 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 for each preseason game missed. If he retires, Texans collect $21.6 million. Once again, you have a lot of good points here that I didn't talk about here on that one, dude. 2020 here. But now, this is an organization that does not care. It's going to be lose-lose. He'll go somewhere else and he'll be happy. But getting there is going to be a long road ahead. Henry says, people talk about LeBron for trying to play GM and tell management who's to trade and sign. Why should Deshaun Watson get to choose the team's GM? Here's why I say that. Should he? That's a different question. Or I think he should because of what the organization has put him through. LeBron trying to play GM. I've never criticized him that at all. But when an organization has put you through so much, you have been loyal to them, and you know that your relationship's already fractured. You're trying to mend that as best as you can. I believe he should have some say. Whether they listen to him or not, I believe is another story. There, of course, I said salary comment being so long, not a problem, man. It's important to kind of break down the situation at the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson. Do I believe the Houston Texans should move on from him? No. From Houston's standpoint, you have a franchise quarterback. He just came off of a career year, almost 5,000 yards. If I was an organization, I would not want to trade him. Some possibilities, again, they're not going to trade him a team in the AFC South. It wouldn't make any sense. Let's see in a year with Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. And maybe the Jaguars are rebuilding with Urban Meyer. There's so many questions. They're not going to trade him in their own division. Here, folks, again, I said maybe the Chicago. Again, depending on the cap situation. I said the 49ers, but again, most likely they could go after Matthew Stafford. The Jets, we've been hearing rumors about Deshaun Watson wants to go to the New York Jets. Do I believe this to be true? No. Do I hope it is not true? Yes, I hope it is not true at all. You're in an organization with the Houston Texans where you're not happy. I get it. Then you go to an organization who's even worse. But yeah, you do have Robert Saleh. So again, there could be some high side to that. Again, Henry does kind of, no one's going to give up 3 first-round picks. You're not wrong. Again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I would love to see what teams and organizations, Henry, how much are they going to get or give up for Deshaun Watson? I don't think they give up 3 first-round picks, but I think it'd be interesting to see what any franchise that wants Deshaun Watson will give up. Again, here I said the Broncos, but again, just like with the Matthew Stafford thing, I'm going to eliminate that completely because the Broncos would have to give up too much. Again, it wouldn't trade to any team in the division. Again, like I said, with Matthew Stafford with the Panthers, is without a doubt a low possibility. But they do have Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore. Henry does make a good point here. Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick, correct, and they will draft Trevor Lawrence. I don't see why they wouldn't at this point in time. But again, like I said, with Trevor Lawrence, they've talked about him so much. There's no doubt he's going to be the first overall pick. But I think he's going to work out. Another conversation, another day on NFL Draft Week and month here, ladies and gentlemen. But again, this is That One Dude 2020. Just like they did on the show last night, I'm going to do it here. They talked about their picks from this past year, what they did before the 2020 season started. I'm going to pull those up and talk about what I chose, what I thought some teams would win the division. For me, what went wrong and what went way, really, really wrong here. Again, after this, we got one little special announcement here for That One Dude 2020. Again, Isaiah says he did not pick Denver, but Callan spam in the comments section below. He did pick Denver to win the AC West, and he had Drew Lock winning MVP, or having him win MVP. Isaiah, you cannot change your pick now that Callan is still here, but maybe not on the shows. But ladies and gentlemen, let's do what went wrong, but also went way wrong for me, because I know every prediction I had was right. We're looking at theirs here. They also had New Orleans. I had the Bucs winning their division. Whether it did a little bit off, I agree. But the one we have to look at here is, of course, Dallas. I did pick also Dallas to win the division here, folks. And again, we didn't expect COVID this year or this past year. We didn't expect this many injuries to happen here, folks. Kind of zoom this in. Hopefully, y'all can see it here. I did pick Seattle to win the division. But again, the end result was very, very disappointing. Kansas City, of course, unlike Isaiah, said he didn't pick Denver. But right here, on what went wrong. The AFC West here, folks, says the Denver Broncos. So Isaiah did pick the Denver Broncos, so he can't retract it because the photo proof is right here. Martin did pick the Raiders, but again, that wasn't too far of a pick. But again, a lot of things can happen in the NFL. The Colts, I had for that division, I picked Tennessee. But man, oh man, I'm always happy to admit when I am wrong. We kind of look at here for the other divisions here. Arizona, I had Arizona maybe getting the extra wild card spot. We will look as you finish up what went wrong and what went right. I was right about Seattle winning the division. Arizona, or the let's look at one more to Kansas City. I did pick as much as I want the Kansas City Chiefs to go 0-16 every single year. Truly, ladies and gentlemen, it is not going to happen. For the AFC South, I had Tennessee, and a lot of things can happen. Buffalo, I had to win in the AFC East here. The AFC North, I did have either the Steelers or the Ravens at the end of the day. That was maybe another one off. That's about 50-50 here, folks. Again, not all of my sports predictions are going to be right. But I can admit when I'm truly and genuinely wrong. Henry Cousins makes a good point. J.J. Watt is hurt every year. He is later in his years. Jeremy, let me get that out of y'all's way. But you do make a good point here. Henry, is that J.J. Watt is hurt every year. He's talking about criticizing his teammates. I don't think he's just criticizing his teammates. He's also he's criticizing his teammates, but he's also criticizing himself because he does expect greatness. Not just criticizing him, but he's criticizing his teammates and the whole organization. He's not discounting him from the criticism. I truly believe that one here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I was about almost 45 to 50% right on the divisional picks this year. But ladies and gentlemen, about a year ago, February 15th, 2020, is when I decided to go into the sports industry. So as a matter of fact, this announcement, February 15th, and I believe in 17 days, folks, here, will be the 1-year anniversary since I started the sports show, since I started working in the sports career. Folks, I have a quick sneak peek of some of my favorite moments from the past year before we end it here on tonight's Final Thoughts. Again, it's a quick sneak peek of my favorite moments from the past year, which the full clip of it will be shown on the That One Dude 2020 1-year anniversary here coming up February 15th in a little under 3 weeks. Let's get that checked out.
I went to my kitchen, I pulled out my typewriter, and I wrote 3 letters.
Extremely excited and honored and blown away. But if I don't, man, I've got my health. I've got a beautiful family. I got my parents still. Like we're blessed, man. We've got 4 beautiful kids.
Folks, this is a quick sneak peek of that. But again, That One Dude 2020 1-year anniversary show will be February 15th. That is on a Monday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll still have a regular programmed show, of course, that Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. But of course, like we do on every show, let's go to tonight's final thoughts. Folks, again, I can't say how much blessed I am to do what I do here for God's glory and how the MI6 Sports Network people gave me an opportunity, and I can't thank them enough. So thank you to Cal and everybody for giving me an opportunity. But I want to thank everybody that has tuned in to the show tonight. Thank you so much, Henry, for coming in. Isaiah Leong, of course, Christian Wilson, as always, who's been coming into the clutch. And we have James Gonzalez coming in. Again, thank you so much, man, for tuning in to the show tonight. But thank you all so much for coming onto the show tonight and taking time out of your truly busy and tuning day. Again, this is only episode 4 of That One Dude 2020. Thank you all so much for the support. God bless. And I'll speak with y'all again soon. Peace.
For the Jaguars, it's coffee. The Broncos are going to lose today. Never. It's nothing special. Small. 49ers are biased on KD. That is a stupid idea. No.
If I can't take it when my team, I'll give the Colts the benefit of the doubt. Madden 21 was so bad.
I'm gonna so last time I'm getting my body.
Has he played? Has he started in the
Right to tell you. Tag him on Instagram. Second, on all these tantrums. I could have. Foreman coming out of Texas.
Truly appreciate the offer.